Yeah, now it's live.
Well, it's Friday again, Lynda. Dr. Gordon and Lynda here from Southeastern Fertility. It's Facebook Friday, Lynda.
Happy Friday!
Happy Friday! Happy Friday! And it was an eventful week this week. I learned some things about the office. I learned that we didn't know the code for the fire alarm box because we had a little bagel problem, bagel incident. Yes, where you basically overcook your bagels and create smoke. Apparently, the smoke detectors do work.
Very sensitive.
Yep.
Very sensitive.
And I learned there must be a second floor or basement because the fire alarm said exit the building and do not take the elevator.
Yes.
So I want to know. I've been here 2 years. I want to know where's the elevator.
I've been here 6. I haven't found it yet.
So where's it going? So maybe when Dr. Keenan disappears, he's taking the elevator and going somewhere.
I bet he is because he can disappear quicker
It's
than
like the
that.
Batcave. It's like the Batcave.
Yeah.
I
bet it's a
Now we know. Now we know. Now the secret's out. Anyway, well, we're not. So it was an eventful week, and we got. So this week, I learned a lot. So I learned something about planning. Okay, so I think this is a statement that you probably have used at times. Would you say sometimes? A little bit.
I find it very hard to use that statement, but Mary helps reinforce it for me.
Okay, all right. So this was the statement that I think was appropriate for this week. Okay, so I'm off this weekend. I know you're here, and I appreciate you being here to do scans, but we're going down to watch the Clemson Georgia Tech game. I was split.
That should be a good one.
I know, split loyalties. I have to wear like Clemson gear and then switch to Georgia Tech gear and then back again depending on who I'm with. But in any case, my dogs, I was thinking I was going to leave them at home and have like maybe neighbor kids look at them, some of that, and that didn't work out so right. Okay. So then I was like, well, I'll just call the normal place where I board them, and that didn't work out so right. So they didn't have a spot. So I was like, oh my gosh. And then the Bordetella vaccine has expired on the dogs, so I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get Bellator. So I'm running around crazy trying to get these things done, okay?
Stressed.
You're very stressed out, right? And again, when I talk to the people at the kennels,
is that what they tell you?
they were kind of like, a lack of plan on your part does not constitute an emergency on our part, right? I mean, we understand that you want your dogs boarded, but them's the rules. And so that's why I was like the countdown clock, like get the Bordetella vaccine before you can drop them off. So it was stressful. It was stressful. So I understand why people want what they want. Like I want to find a place for my dogs to go for like 36 hours. Not even. Like it's like 31 hours. Okay, we're gonna be gone such a short period of time. But the kennels were like, no, this is what we have to have done, and lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on our part. So, no, we can't change the rules. Them's the rules. So I understand how patients think about it too. I want to be in this month's cycle. Mm-hmm. Why can't you make this happen? I know I was supposed to call when I got my period, and now it's day 9, but why can't you just fix it? It's like, cause sometimes it's hard to fix. There's no fix. Turn back the hands of time. So sometimes you just can't fix it. Sometimes you can't just fix it. So then I was going crazy, as you know, because you looked at me like, you seem stressed out, Gordon. So I was trying to then register them to go to a different kennel, which is recommended, and they had this big website where you put in all this information. And I spent 20 minutes, and it kicked me off the website, and all my information was lost. So I had patients wait, and I'm like, is this killing me? So then I finally got back in, and then I find out, as opposed to the other kennels where you don't need your Bordetella except once a year, they're required every 6 months. So I had to rush home, get the other dog, take Lucky to get vaccinated because he was 7 months from getting his Bordetella, get him vaccinated. So I go through all this, and then it says, you can make a reservation once you've registered. Except you couldn't, because that said
you had to call.
You had to call for your first reservation. So anyway, so I did get it taken care of. But it was, again, it was very stressful. It was very stressful. I was stressed. So why am I telling you this shaggy dog story? Is there a point?
There's always a point.
There's a point. Actually, I was wasting everyone's time. But here's the other point. So the thing about this kennel, which I really like, and this is pet safe, is that they have flexible drop-off and pickup. Okay, so in other words, if I am dropping off coming back to pick up, in the afternoon the next day, you can do that. And if you're outside their normal work hours, they have somebody there 24/7. So the nursing thing doesn't work out. I'm just going to work at Pet Safe Village. I just 24/7. Just stay there with the dogs, right? But you can get them. So that's the flexibility. And I was thinking about that, talking to a patient today or yesterday on one of the doxy calls, just about her situation. She's like, this is really important to us, Dr. Gordon, that we don't fertilize all the eggs. And I guess you really can't do anything about it. I said, sure we can. How many eggs do you want to fertilize? They said, well, we just don't want to have any extra embryos to freeze. I said, well then, let's just fertilize 2 eggs and you can freeze the others. And they're like, you can do that? I said, yeah. So all the other clinics we talked to, we couldn't do that.
They wouldn't freeze eggs.
Not in a mini stim situation. They were like, we won't freeze eggs, a lot of them, and then they would only freeze or let them do it if they're doing full stem. And some don't even do mini stem. So I think, the idea of this flexibility really hit home, right? I mean, for me to have the flexibility for the dogs in terms of dropping off, picking up, and that's, I think, what we can offer in terms of the approach here that we're dealing with. Say, listen, what's the issue? You want to fertilize 1 egg? You want to fertilize 2 eggs? You want to freeze the extra ones? You don't want to freeze the extra ones? I mean, we can do that because of the approach.
Yes.
I know when I came and saw Dr. Keenan was doing some very flexible things. Let's just freeze eggs for a couple cycles and fertilize them all in one fell swoop. I mean, that's great. I mean, to have that flexibility, how much value is that, right? And so that makes up for your lack of planning does not constitute emergency on my part. But we can't, so I can't fix that, but we can give that flexibility.
We can plan ahead with
We
flexibility.
can, that's right, and we can give that flexibility, right? So that's good. So remember, Lynda is too nice to say this, okay? But Dr. Gordon lived it this week, okay? And Allison was like, well, why didn't you get there? I said, well, we talked about, that. She goes, you talked to me about that. The dogs are going to the kennel. There's no, dogs staying at home without supervision on my part. It's like, that's the deal.
I still say you should take them with you.
They went to Atlanta last week.
Put the bandana, one of them a Georgia bandana,
And
one of them.
a Clemson bandana.
Clemson
Yeah,
bandana.
Georgia Tech bandana. Yeah, I know. I mean, next year we'll take the dogs. Do they go? What about at the UT? I'll go. They should stay with you. You take the UT game.
I don't go to the games.
You don't go to the games.
No.
You're banned again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
No.
Anyway, well, that's for next week's story. Why is Lynda banned from Neyland Stadium? All right, well, if you're coming in this weekend, you'll see Ms. Lynda. You won't see Dr. Gordon. I'm back Monday, and we'll be here Friday. So y'all have a wonderful weekend, and go Vols.
Go Vols.
That's right. I'm not going to say anything else about any other team. So go Vols. All right.